Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here we successfully complete our view page for the employee salary. So for the employee salary, that is our view page. So right now I want to add this employee salary page. So if you want to add this, so that is one of the route we have to update. Now go to our view page, that means in our employee salary view page. And with the employee salary, that is actually one of the button. You can see that is one of the href as a add edit employee salary. Now I want to change that name as a account. Okay, I name it as account salary add. So this step up one of the route I want to create. So now go to our web route. Into the web route, that will be one of the get method obviously, and after this I make it our name. Our name is as a account salary add. I copy it, so that will be as a account salary add, and I want to update, that will be as a account salary add, and then account salary. Here I name it as a add. Okay, so that will be as a add. Perfect. So now I want to create this method in our account salary controller. Now go to our account salary controller. After this I name it as a public, and then function, and then account salary add. I simply add it. So into the account salary add page, I only want to return one of the page. Right now that will be just like same. I simply paste it. I want to return one of the view page. Okay, right now we don't need to do any pass any data. So right now we don't need this data array. Okay, I remove this data array from to this position. So now in our backend, in our account folder, I have created another folder as account salary. So now into the employee salary, here I want to create another file name as employee salary add. This type of one of the file name I want to create in our employee salary folder. Now go to our this folder. So that is our employee salary folder. Right now I open it, and now click as a save as, and I name it as a employee salary underscore add dot blade dot php. Okay, so that will be our page. So right now this page will be just like same. Here I also want to use that handler.js. So that is in our student fee add page. I select everything, I copy it, and then in our employee salary add I paste it. Okay, so now we will customize it as per our demand. Like that is actually our handlebar. So now first of all I want to change that name. Our name will be as add and employee salary. Okay, add employee salary, this type of one of the name, and then the year. So right now we don't need this. I only want to need one field actually. Okay, so here we don't need any field. So that is actually on the row, and that is our and call 3. So right now I close it, I remove it. The class ID also we don't need this. Only I need that on the date, and also here we don't need this, and you can see there is a date. So only I want to take on the date. So that will be, I make it as a star call 6. Okay, I make it as a call 6, and also there is a date format, there is a name as a date, and ID as a date. Perfect. And also want to make it as a call 6 for our this search button. I think at that point you already know. Okay, so that is our date, and then that is our form. Into the form area also we have to create another route, right? We have to create another route for the account. I name it as a salary store. Okay, salary store. The concept, as I told you, it will be just like that same. I have to get all the data, I have to load this data into this table area, and then from to this position there is a submit button. I want to update this data, and that means I stored this data. Okay, so that is the account salary store we have to create. And first of all we have to update our this JavaScript, because here from to this method we have to actually get this data, right? So from to this route we have to get this data. So right now we don't need to add any year ID, class ID, or the fee category ID. I simply remove it because they have only one field will be needed. One field will be just for the date. So that will be enough. Okay, and that is a date and the date val. Okay, and then our Ajax, and then we have to type will be as a get type, and the data will be only one field. Better I remove everything. I remove everything from here. Only one field will be needed as a date. Okay, and then there have nothing to change. Everything will be just like that same before. We get this data with a document result ID, that is a document template ID. So that is our script, document template ID, and then that is our document result. So now I want to create this route, because with this route we have to get this data, right? So now I want to add that name, that will be as the account salary get not that student, get employee. So this type of one of the route I want to create. So now let's create it. Now click as a copy it, and now go to our web route. Here I name it, that will be our new route. Our route name I have put on here as account salary get employee. So now I copy it. Now go to our web route. Into the web route, that will be our route name. Okay, that will be our route name as account salary get employee. So now I name it as a get employee, and in our account salary controller I want to create another method as a account salary and then get employee. Okay, I make it as a get and then employee. So now we have to create this method in our account salary controller. Now go to our account salary controller. After this I name it as a public and then function and then our method name, right? So that will be our method. And also I have declared another method. If you go to our add page, into the add page there is another route. You can see another route is the account salary store. I also want to do and to create it. So that will be another post method. I copy it, and after that I paste it. So that will be one of the post method. That means here I name that route will be as account salary store, and that method will be as a post. I copy it, and then here I only want to update it, that name as account salary store, and that will be as a store. That means account salary store. And in our account salary controller I want to create one of the method as account salary store. Okay, so that will be our name. And also obviously this route will be as a post method, so I name it as a post. Okay, so now in our account salary controller I want to create this method as account salary store. So right now after this, so I will do the things later, but right now I support everything. That is a public and then function and then our method name. So that is our simple method. Okay, so I will do the things later. First of all I want to get this data. So friend, this data, as I told you, it should be just like our employee. That means if you go to the employee management, in the employee management there is the employee monthly salary. So into the monthly salary, right, we don't need this. So into the monthly salary you can see there is only one field as a date. So by the date, if you click as a search, automatically it's get all the data. So our theme main structure will be just like that same. Here if you want to check it, so I have already created one of the controller. If you go to our employee, into the employee you can see there is a monthly salary controller. So if you go to that monthly salary controller, here you can see that is the monthly salary get. So that is the same condition. Okay, better I copy it. I copy this same condition. After that there is a return response JSON. I copy it, and then that will be as a this one. Okay, but now I copy it and now we will customize it as per our demand. Everything will be just like that same. Okay, so here in our account salary that I have created on the controller, in our account salary get employee, here I simply paste it. Okay, and better I put on the note for you, that is a and method. So now we will customize it as per our demand. And here first of all, that is our date. You can see there is also one same field. Here we don't need to change anything because of all in our employee salary add. Here I have also take one of the date field, and only there is a name as a date, right? So first of all I just simply convert it. I think you already know about it. So that is our year and month wise. I want to short it. That means the short time order requested our date. Requested date means that is our requested date. Okay, so what are the things I actually pass from here? First of all I want to check it. Now click the save all. Okay, check it. Like if you go to our this page, now click the refresh. Now go to our add employee salary. You can see there is only one field as a this date, right? So only field, and there is also here I want to put on the style. If you go to our view or add page, into the add page, that is our search box. So I want to put another style, and here I take it as a padding top. I make it as a 25 pixel, sorry, that is a pixel. So 25 pixel will be enough, I think. Click as a save all, and now go there, click as a refresh. Yeah, it's perfect. So that is our date. So from this date, I want to get all the our date wise data, right? Perfect. So now in our accounts, that salary controller, so that will be our date, will be updated if they have as a not equal null, the same condition which we have done it before. And then that is our data, that is the employee attendance. Also we get this data from the attendance we have to get it because of all, that is our salary, right? So add employee salary. So for the salary in our employee management, in our employee monthly salary, as I told you before, automatically it will be calculated that data. That means if this employee has any absent, then automatically it will be reduce this absent amount from to the main salary, right? And after that, from here we have to pay it. So for the reasons, from our employee attendance, select the same as the employee ID, as a group by data I want to take it as the employee ID, right? So with this user, right? So right now with this user, I have also created, if you go to our employee attendance, maybe here I have previously created this part. If you go to that model, into the employee attendance, if you go to that employee attendance, that is employee attendance, you can see I have already created one of the relationship to our user table with the user method. Perfect. So now the same condition where the same, and then get it. Okay, so that will be the just like that same. Here we don't need to change anything. And now I want to do visible that name as a serial number. That means the serial number, employee name I want to visible. I want to visible another one. I want to visible another one as a employee ID number. Maybe into the view page, I use it ID number, right? So I also want to display that ID number. That means the employee ID number or just ID number. Okay, so make it simple as a ID number. So serial number, ID number I want to visible. I want to visible that employee name, employee basic salary, and then basic for this month, and action. So right now we don't need this action. Here I want to make it as a select. Okay, the select that will be just like our previous one. So only here this select option only we have to update, right? Everything is great. Then I take that data. With this data I add that our for each will be as a data as attendance, as I told you before. And then I want to calculate it, our total data. So right now that is our portion. Here only we have to update this portion, in particular that area. Okay, and then the total attendance, that is absent counting. So everything will be just like that same. Only we have to add our new one, because of all from which table. Right now I want to insert this data. Right now I want to insert this data in our this table. That means that is account employees salaries table, right? So for the employee account salaries, I have already created one of the model, a model name as a account employee salary. So now with this model we have to work. So into the for each, before it I want to take one of the variable, and I just name it as a account. Okay, account underscore salary. So this step on the variable, and then with our this model, into the model area we have to only put on the condition. Condition will be our employee account employee salary. So into the employee account salary, there is an employee ID. So this ID will be our attendance salary ID. That means this salary, this field data will be our here. That is our, I get this employee ID data, take the things with this variable, and here there is our attend, right? So now with this attend I want to access our this employee ID. Perfect, and that's all. And then I also want to add another condition for the where our, also we have to pass that our date field. Our date field will be, that means here that is our date field, right? So this date field will be our this date. That means here I have already take it one of the variable, so that is our date, right? So I copy it, and then that will be our this date. Perfect. And when it will be match, I want to get that as a fast data. So that will be as a fast data, right friend? I hope it's very much clear to you. So every concept will be same, but only we have to insert this data right now in our account employee salary. For the reasons I put that condition where our employee ID will be our this table, that means this employee table employee ID. So if you want to access this employee ID, you have to access it with this atom. Because of all, you can see I get all that our data, take the things with this variable, and into the for each I simply name it with the key our this attend. So now with this attend, I want to actually access this employee ID, and where our date will be the same as a date. I want to get that only one specific row ID data as a, that is our first data I want to take. Okay, and after that it will be the same concept we did before. That means if you go to our previous student fee controller, here I have also checked it, right? You can see there is the same condition. Better I copy it. I copy this condition and then here I paste it. So better I want to put it on here. So when this account salary will be not equal null, okay, or not equal null, then it will take one of the variable as a check. It will be pass that data as a checked, and then else it will be make it as a empty. Okay, perfect. And then our total, everything will be same from our employee attendance with the user. I have already created that relationship where employee ID will be the same. Okay, employee ID will be the same with our attendance employee ID, and then get this data, and then I count that our absent, that means that with this count our total attendance where our attendance status as a absent. So friend, I think you already remembered that part, because I have already discussed about everything with you with the live example. If you go to our employee attendance table, then everything will be remembered to you. Like if you go to employee attendance, like here there is employee attendance, right? So in the employee attendance, you can see that is our field name as employee attendance. It will be counting all that our absent field, right? So it will be counting that, and then I simply calculated that absent. So here that is absent, and then that is our color. So right now we don't need this color. I only want to visible first of all that is a serial number, right? So better I want to move it on here, and then I put that some of the gap. Okay, so first of all that is our serial number. Our serial number will be the key, so that means it will be just like that same. And then our ID number right now we are already into the for loop, and the for each I get that data with the attendance, with this attendance, that the user and user ID number should be visible. So that means that will be the ID underscore number. Okay, so that will be the ID number. So right now better I want to put this little bit into the left side. Okay, I put it in the left side. So that is our user ID number will be visible. That means user table ID number, because I have already created one of the relationship in our employee attendance. Into the employee attendance I have created that as a user model, right? That means our user method. So with this user method I created that relation with our user table. I think it's very much clear to you right now. So right now also from to this position I want to pass one of the input field. Okay, I want to pass one of the input field. If you want to pass it here, that is our this plus portion. So now I want to add we have to concrete it, and then I have to pass it. I have to pass one of the input field. That will be as one of the hidden field actually. Input and type will be as a hidden type. Okay, type will be as a hidden. So I make it as a hidden. So make it as a hidden, and that will be as a hidden type, and then I put that name. From here I want to pass that our date actually. Our name will be as a date. Okay, name will be as a date, and then the value. So value will be first of all the double, and then the single, and then here we have to pass our date. Okay, so date I take it. That is our date. I take that things with this date, right? So now I want to pass this date. So here input our this value into the value area, concatenation with our this date, and also after that we have to add this concatenation. Perfect. And then that is our last one. So that is our last one. Here also we have to add that our input field, right? So that is our input, we have to add it. So now I close this input. So that's all. So I simply pass that is our ID number will be visible, and with the ID area I pass one of the hidden type input field. So that is our for the date. Okay, and also after that I want to display that employee name. Employee name will be just like that same. That means that with the user I want to visible that name. Better I want to copy it, because here another field will be needed. Okay, another field will be needed, another field will be with the user. I want to display that name. That means their user table name, and with this user I want to display that employee name and the basic salary. Basic salary is in our user table, right? So into the user table I want to access that salary. So I think you remember that part, friend. If you go to our user table, into the user table there is actually one of the field. They have one of the field as a salary. Here you can see that is actually our salary. So that is our employee. So that is employee salary. Okay, so it shall be get this data. So that is our with the user table I want to access our this salary field. Perfect. And after that, that will be just like the same salary float. That means here I am to calculate the data in our user table. That's main salary. That means user table main salary. So it should be our main salary. And from here I will have to first of all find out that our per day salary amount. That means if you want to find out that per day salary amount, whatever the things I have added in our this salary field. So that is actually our salary field. I take that salary field with this variable, and then I simply divided with the 30. That means this salary amount with the 30, right? And the minus, that will be same. That is our absent count. That means that is actually our absent count, right? So with this absent count I want to now into our salary per day, into our salary per day, the same, the minus, then it will be getting our total salary. Perfect. So right now I want to visible our total salary. So that is our TD source. Here you can see I have previously I did the same things. So into the salary area I want to pass another input field. Okay, and to pass another input field that will be just like our this input. Better I copy it. I copy this input. I copy total things from here, and then after this that is our one of the dollar sign. So into the dollar sign area I want to pass this input field. Okay, I pass this input hidden and hidden type, and here I want to pass that our amount. So that is our amount. If you go there, that is the amount, right? So now I want to pass that amount, and this amount will be as a multiple. So for the reasons here I make it as a empty array. Value will be our this total salary. So that will be our total salary. Then it's finish it on here, and after this I want to finish it. Okay, so after this I want to finish it. That is this input field, and then our coordination, that is our close the TD. Perfect. Okay, perfect. And then our last one will be actually just like our previous one. So better I want to copy that things from our previous one in our student fee controller. Here I have done this work, right? Better I copy it. I copy that total things from to this position, and then in our account salary, with the account salary right now we don't need this TD. I only updated this part. So here I updated this part. Okay, so that will be as the HTML keyword. That means the key, and our TD source will be input field hidden. I want to also pass it right now, not that student ID. From here I want to pass that our this employee ID. Okay, that means in our accounts employee salary table this ID. So now I want to pass it. So that will be also as a multiple one. I pass that as a value. Our value will be right now, if you want to access that our this employee ID. Okay, if you want to access that employee ID, we have to access it with our, because that is actually our for loop, right? You can see that is actually our for loop. So into the for loop we have to access it with the attendance. So with this attendance I have to use it. So with this attendance I want to access that employee ID, and then I pass another employee ID, and I just name it as a checkbox, name it as a check manager, as a multiple one. The ID will be the same. Okay, everything will be here as the same. So right now we don't need to change anything. So Perfect. And better I put some of the note for user and for each. Okay, so that is a clever and for each. Perfect. And then this return response JSON with the HTML. Okay, so friend, that is all that our field. That is a calculated data. So now if everything okay, it should be now getting this data and pass this data in our add page. Into the add page, it should be get this with the document result, and there is a document template. So it should be I get that data with this route, and now it should be visible. Okay, and after that we will update, that means we store this data. So now let's check this out. If you now click on the save all, and now go to our page, that means in our account manager, that is our employee salary. Into the employee salary right now is totally empty, because here I want to insert this data, in particular this table. So I will do the things later. First of all, I want to check it. Now click as the add employee salary. So now I select as a month, as it's selected as a here as a month wise. You can also get that data with the UR wise, right? So now I actually getting that our December data. Now click as a search. So now it's not working, right? So here maybe they have some of the issues. Don't worry friend, already this video is so much long, but I want to continue this process. In our next video we'll solve it. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.